Greetings, fellow in time and space. It's your host, my Shadow, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to some more Final Fantasy XIV Online. We're going to be continuing up where we left off in the last live stream. We had just completed our first instance of the new Endwalker expansion, so now we are continuing with the remainder of this quest, as well as seeing what happens from this point forward. So without further ado, let's get started our way with today's adventure, and see what's in store for us. Allons-y! But before I do that... what is this that PlayStation got posted? Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition trailer. Okay, share this link around. I always post whenever I go live on Twitter, so that way people know I'm live. And here, as well as here. Alright, that takes care of that. And I got some food in the microwave, so I will be stepping away every so often to check on that. But until then, let us continue. In spite of the obstacles we faced, our plan proceeds apace. Just a little farther and we will reach the capital itself. Still, we mustn't get ahead of ourselves. As soon as the camp has been made fit for purpose, we're to discuss the course of action with Lucia. Would you mind asking your Stolen and Graha to join us in that building? To the northeast of the camp, Alize and I will meet you there. In truth, I've been feeling out of sorts since we arrived. The air is thick with a palpable aura of malevolence. 'Tis the monstrous tower on the horizon, jagged, hideous, and holy. Even at this distance, its presence is overwhelming. Much like the sensation I felt in the Tower of Zot, only far more terrifying. Ether flows unceasingly towards it, converting it to a swirling mass of unfathomable power. For a blessing, the constant chill in the air is helping to anchor my senses in the here and now. Tell the others I shall be with you in a few moments. I was about to say, I saw an ether current. Any ether currents here? 220 yalms to the east. There's one nearby. You'll be pleased to know most of the temperate have been quartered inside the nearby buildings and are receiving treatment as we speak. I do, however, feel no small amount of guilt for commanding civilian homes. The occupants may be long gone, but everything is exactly as they left it. Considering the length of time that has clearly passed since, one would expect to find them ransacked. Strangely, there are no signs of anything having been stolen. It's possible that everyone fled at the first sight of trouble, though it seems to me they left far too many useful possessions behind. Although there is no conclusive evidence, I strongly suspect they were tempered. Sorry, I was merely thinking aloud. You mentioned a meeting, I will make my way there. Northeast. Directly, there it is, on top of that little rock face. What's the level of that? 82, okay. Thank you for informing the others of our meeting. When everyone is here, we will begin.
Our present situation is as follows. Efforts to aid the people of Garlemald have begun in earnest. Moreover, having entered into the capital, the Imperial Palace is within our reach.
But before we proceed further, we must learn what has befallen this city. For therein lies the key to understanding and combating the Telophoroid's designs.
I have a suggestion, if I may. Several of the Imperial soldiers we captured on the Magna Glaciers are members of the Populares and acquaintances of mine. Once we have cured them of their tempering, they should be able to give a reliable account of the events leading to the capital's downfall.
A promising idea. I will assist the healers in their ministrations. Of course, I will require a proxy of my own, assuming you can spare one.
Would you like a hand?
No, I am sure we will manage. Better that you take my place in the field. The noxious ether of this place disagrees with me, and as I shall need to draw on my own for the treatment, 'twill be prudent for me to remain within the camp.
This talk of curing the tempered is all well and good, but I reckon the cold is a more pressing concern. All the houses round here are fitted with cerulean heaters that could keep us warm and toasty. Problem is, the machines seem to have given up the ghost, and if we keep sitting around, freezing our asses off, we'll be next. My smiths reckon with the right parts, they can have them working again, but it won't be easy.
Understood. The machinist will assist them in the repairs.
The rest of us should either stand watch or survey the area.
We've made our presence known to the Telophoroi. They will be searching for us, if they have not already ascertained our position. That we have seen no sign of them since the battle suggests they have yet to do so. However, I suspect they may be biding their time.
Or perhaps we are beneath their notice.
In any event, we'll find no answers standing around here. Urianger, Estinian and myself have visited Garlemald recently, so we'll lead the reconnaissance efforts. Perhaps bolstered by a few Bosnian and Dalmatian scouts from my previous excursion for good measure.
Don't forget about us Alamegans. We have experienced scouts of our own.
Well now, this is turning out to be a rather sizable team. With such numbers, we should be able to cover a wide area with relative ease, including that surrounding the Imperial Palace. How about you, Graha? I have a feeling we'll find a use or two for that vanishing spell of yours.
'Twould be my honor to be of service, though I doubt that you of all people need rely on my tricks.
That leaves us with guard duty.
As a matter of fact, I have something else in mind for the two of you and Alphino. Between here and the center of the capital lies the Eblan Rime. I would have you search the area for survivors. Your keen sense of direction, honed in your extensive travels, should prove useful in navigating the ice fields.
If there are any survivors, we will surely find them.
I have faith that you will, and look forward to greeting you on your safe return. You all have your duties. Let us make haste. May the Fury bless and keep you.
Side quests? No side quests yet, but I'm willing to bet there will be side quests as soon as I complete this quest. Gods be good, if it's this cold with Tataru's clothing, I dread to think how we'd fare without it. I must remember to thank her when next we meet. It makes me realize, too, that while the people of Garlemald have spent their whole lives in conditions like these, even they'd be hard-pressed to survive away from the warmth of their homes. If there are any survivors, we must find them, and quickly. Two side quests. I'm an alien. What ho, chums? Been given something to do, have you? As it happens, I too have been ordered to make myself useful. Sounds like a rather tall order. Since you ask, we're discarded Abeline Rang for survivors. What? Wander around the ice fields on the off chance you'll find someone. You take forever to finish the job without the benefit of my expertise, or more specifically, my telescope. Come, friends, I know just the spot to begin our search. I'll probably regret this, but we may as well humor him. Quest. Just a person I was hoping to see. Might I interest you in a little hunting? It's bears I'm after. If you've never tried their meat, I thoroughly recommend it. They're far from the easiest of prey, though I dare say you face much worse. If you're game, here's the plan. First, we lure them out with this deer meat, which is also laced with sleeping potion. Then it's a simple matter of walking over and offering them in a manner of your choosing. What could be simpler? Here's 3 ample servings of prime venison. Be sure to let the concoction take effect before swooping in to claim your prize. Your inventory is not full. That's funny. I have an important task to perform, and by that I mean have someone else perform. I've been lumbered with the inevitable duty of keeping inventory of supplies brought by each delegation. Though weaponry and basic provisions have been accounted for, I can't say the same for what might be considered creature comforts. You see, even the most frivolous of things can make a huge difference out here in the frozen wastes, so I'm trying to put together a list of the luxury goods at our disposal. Seeing as you're on good terms with practically everyone here, better than me at any rate, perhaps you could help. Much appreciated. I've already sent one of my subordinates to speak with the Maelstrom, Temple Knights, and Alembican Resistance. I need you to ask the remaining groups, namely the Twin Adders, Immortal Flames, and our Far Eastern allies. Any information you can bring me would be most welcome. There is one thing that springs to mind. We brought several bolts of felt, which might seem a bit odd to some. Most people don't realize how effective it is in keeping the cold out and to warm in, and that's not all. We use it in everything from clothing to our yurts and even for patching up wounds. Of course, we're more than willing to share it with the rest of the contingent. We also have a whole crate of what you might call warming stones in the common tongue. Hold one in your hands and you'll see what I mean. There are plenty of those to go around as well. Let me see. Other than the usual material, we also have a number of tents donated by Lord Olorito. A few of them have been pitched around the camp, and you might be interested to know they were woven by Alamegan refugees. We're all glad they found meaningful employment, and the quality of work speaks for itself. We do, however, appear, however, to have overestimated how many tents we would need, and find ourselves with a surplus of cloth. We soon discovered, however, that when folded up, the tea-tents make for surprisingly good bedding. I'd be happy to donate a few. Oh, that's the main quest. Creature comforts. Well, we did bring a large shipment of tea leaves provided by the Caroline Canopy. Mother Mion and Fufucha both agree that there's no better way to stave off the cold than a nice hot brew, and I can personally attest to that. We put enough for everyone if they've a mind to try it. Do the others have anything to share? Yes, that will do nicely. What's more, the Temple Knights, Maelstrom, and Alamegan Resistance had a fair few useful supplies of their own, so my list of creature comforts is a lot longer than I was expecting. In all honesty, I was worried that taking in all those Imperials might put everyone, including them, in a very unfavorable position. Even those of us most committed to the cause might find it hard to put the needs of our former enemies before those of our sworn comrades. A valid point, perhaps, until you start to consider the terrible fate that has befallen Garlemald. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. In any case, they're the reason we're here in the first place, so it's our duty to lend them what aid we can. Listen to me ramble on. Anyway, for your part in making our lives a little more bearable, please accept this as a token of my gratitude. Necklace. I just realized it has yet to give me any of the other pieces of main gear at all. Okay, I need to travel out, so get my ride here. 348 yalms to the north. Okay, I'm heading directly north. Northwest, so I need to slightly turn. Slowly we turn. Oh god, freaking please do this. Well, that's where we need to go. Oh, there's two places. There it is. Neat. Whoa. Why was this bear so big? Nothing? Alright then. Oh, that was it. That was the only one. That's funny. Niagara Falls. I see you are still in possession of a full set of limbs, which can only mean the hunt was a success. Truth be told, I heard from others in the field that the bear you encountered was rather more lively than we'd anticipated, and a fair bit bigger. What? You felled that brute all by yourself? Most impressive. It would appear that the sleeping potion provided by Lord Eminellan was considered less effective than he'd led us to believe. As he tells it, he adopted this approach after incurring the wrath of his lord father for his ability to master more sporting methods. He spoke of his exploits with some pride, despite the tales hardly painting him in a favorable light. Still, in our present situation, we must forego the thrill of the hunt to select the means that present the surest route to success, underhanded though they may be. Regrettably, the bears of this region are entirely immune to the formula, or perhaps there was something wrong with it to begin with. In any case, no harm done, eh? To you, I mean, not the bears, obviously. And my food should be ready. Okay. Got my food here. Just let it cool down a bit so I don't burn my mouth again. Charge! Whoop. I spy with my little telescope a massive sheepling, or maybe it's a cow. Not what we're after either way. Is that an ether current? Ah, no, just a wind sprite. Other than that, it's all snow, snow, snow. Below, what do I see over your hillock? There's no mistaking it. That's a girl. A survivor? Show me! Over there, behind that tree. It looks like she's running away from something. No, surely not us. She wouldn't even know we're here unless she had a telescope like mine. All I could tell is that she's wearing a pale green dress, a rather fetching one at that. She'll be long gone by the time we get anywhere near, but we should be able to follow her footprints. I'll let Lucia know where you're heading. Oh, and take these warming tinctures with you. The poor girl must be chilled to the bone, if not on the verge of freezing to death. That's actually very thoughtful, thank you. But won't you need some for yourself? No, I'll be fine. As a man of chivalry, my honor demands I do no less. And lest we forget, the very reason we are here is to protect those in need. Now go, and Godspeed! I wonder, was he lying when he said there was a... No, it's nowhere near here. A trail of fresh footprints lead east. Ew, what is that? Is that, the dollar mold equivalent of a marble? Probably is. It's got a gigantic mouth. There. These footprints appear to be the same as those you previously saw, and they lead towards the building. We're getting closer, I'm sure of it. At first we thought she'd gone inside the building, but the door doesn't look to have been open in some time. She might still be nearby, so we'll keep looking around here. Then again, it's also possible that she ran right past this place. Would you mind searching up ahead? The fat cat minion! It's so fat! Girl in a green dress actually surveys her surrounding. Were you to call out to her from this distance, it might attract wild beasts to your location. It would be safer to get closer first, but you must do so without drawing her attention. Follow the girl from safe distance. The objective will end in failure if you are noticed. Make use of cover such as rocks to approach her without being seen. Obviously. Nip, 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 nip. And that takes care of that. Phew! Still in one piece. Who are you? Stay back. This house is packed with explosives. Take another step and I'll blow this place sky high. Please, we just want to talk. I'm Alfino. This is my sister Alize and our good friend Yami. We have no intention of hurting or taking anything from you or anyone else. I give you my word. We and our comrades have come to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. Aid? You savages are the one responsible for all this. You did this to us. We didn't, I promise you. One of the other reasons we came was to find out what happened here, in fact. The Telophoroi are the ones to blame. They're the ones who laid waste to Garlemald, and they won't stop until they've destroyed the entire world. They're the enemy. Our enemy. On our way, we encountered Imperial soldiers who have been made their thralls. Those poor souls are now in our care, and we are striving to cure them of their affliction. You're the first person we've met who wasn't already enslaved. How are you able to escape the Telophoroi's influence? Are there any others like you? I'm serious. Sorry, I don't mean to overwhelm you. Let's start with introductions. Can you tell me your name? My name's Lucina. Sinya. As for how I've managed to stay sane, I've been asking myself the same question. Ever since that night, and the roar, that terrible roar, and then the screams. I was screaming too, I think. I'm not sure, I can't remember. Then came the silence. Everything was still. It was like waking up from a nightmare. I thought that maybe the fighting had stopped, so I stepped outside. If your hells are real, I saw one that day. I ran, past friends, people I'd known all my life, eyes vacant, dead, staring at the sky. Others were mad and violent. I saw them struggle with soldiers, but didn't stay to watch. I fled, as far as my legs would take me. Do you have family here? Is this their home? No, this is Victor's Spoils, a mansion for retired soldiers, or it was, but now me and a few others are borrowing it. As for the explosives, I was making that up. I just wanted to keep everyone safe. And I didn't know if you were. The truth is the supplies are running low. You said you're here to help. Can you? Of course, whatever assistance we can provide, we will. Thank you. I better tell the others first, though. Wait here. This is everyone. The senior says you can be trusted, but these are desperate times. We'd be fools to let foreign troops into our home. Having said that, were you to provide us with a means of heating the place, that's a sign of goodwill. Perhaps we could take you at your word. If that is too much to ask, then leave us be. Time to put my firewood gathering skills to use. Could you provide a spark with a little magic, Alize? We'll have a fire burning in no time. Maybe build it under that gazebo? The what? Oh, you mean the bower. Yes, yes, do as you will. Take me a couple of bites of my food here. Sorry, I was still... Sorry, mouth was so full. I'm still finding it hard to come to terms with all that's happened. Now that you're here, though, I'm hoping things might change for the better. You know, I've worked up quite a sweat from all that running about, so I'll leave space around the fire for the others. As you can tell, they're in a far worse state than me. We're planning to look for somewhere warmer with more food. We're not going anywhere until we nurse them back to health, which I don't know how to do. Is there anything you can do to help them? I could treat their frostbite in their wounds, but it'll take time for the fire to do its work. Now would be a good occasion to make use of Evanellan's tinctures, the one that can warm the body from the inside out. Would you make sure everyone gets one? The numbness is beginning to subside, though I suspect once the fire dies it will return with a vengeance. Warming tincture? I've never heard of such a thing. No harm in trying. But tell me, have you heard aught of the city? Though calling it that seems absurd after what happened. There's nothing but ruins now. The few buildings still standing offer no more than meager protection from wind and snow. Food production, water purification, the Bagitech that sustained us has come to a grinding halt. What machina that remains operational cannot be run for lack of cerulean. Of course, Cerulean Lingers is full of Cerulean Ingens is full of the stuff. For all the good it does us, no one here knows the first thing about extraction or refinement. All is well. Yes, never better. Oh, what sleep liberation is this? Is it poisoned by any chance? Ha! What's a joke? A joke! If I laugh, 'tis that I may not weep, so said the poet, and alas my tears would freeze on my cheek ere they fall. We are the blessed and damned, to bear witness to the fall of the great empire while our brethren lie dead, or live on as puppets of flesh. First came the war, then came the roar. When morning came, Galamar was no more. In a cacophony of gunfire, explosions and screams was our beloved capital razed to the ground. From the rubble rose to disheveled remnants, their lavish finery caked in ash as they shuffled mindlessly towards the palace, each bearing a fragment of stone or metal, an offering perhaps to the architect of our destruction. A hopeful few tried to reason with the deranged, only to be beaten for their kindness. When I knew better than to plead with the horde, I fled with my health, if not my conscience preserved. Now I wait with my fellow cowards for our final judgment. Jesus. What do you want? A tincture? May as well drink it, I suppose. More food. This is a radio. You don't have them where you come from, I take it. We use them to listen to messages sent by others, even over great distances. There are different types, but this model is by far the most popular. Made with quality components crafted with the finest ore. Sourced for Locus and Manos, as it is. Not all that useful since the capital fell into ruin. The people at the broadcasting station must have either fled or ended up like all the others, because all we've been hearing is the same music, being played over and over again. Home beyond the horizon, an ode to the brave men and women sent to reclaim our ancestral homeland of Locus and Manos. We may have founded an empire in these frozen wastes, but we always hope to take back what was once ours. 'Tis a solemn reminder that though we must suffer great hardship, better days will surely come. Despite everything, I believe that Emperor Varus yet lives, and that he speaks to us through our radios. It was a cunning strategy faking his murder. He must have foreseen this catastrophe and chosen to conceal himself, that he may one day make his triumphant return. Yes, I'm sure of it. Emperor Varus will not be defeated so easily. What's that? More food. So this is what you gave the others? Thank you, I'll save it for later. Actually, I have a few things to ask you. Are you part of the group staying in Laterum? I saw Legatus Regilius troops heading towards the Magna Glacies a few days ago. Are they the ones you encountered? Camp Broken Glass, you call it. And Vergilia and her men are all there now. So how did you reach the Magna Glacies? Did you cross the mountains on foot? Airships. Then there might be a way to... Lucina, where is everyone? Is something the matter? She's lying through her teeth. A voice from inside, you say? You must be imagining things. Everyone's out here. Perhaps a baby Almasty has found its way into the house. It wouldn't be the first time. Without the soldiers to scare them off. Wild animals have been roaming closer to the settlements. Some have been known to attack people, too. I've just had an idea. If you and yours are strong enough to defeat a Legatus, then surely a few beasts shouldn't pose a threat. If you've in mind to continue helping us, perhaps you could head to the other side of the lake. There's a small group of tappers living there, people whose job was to extract cerulean. They still do, from what we could tell. I've already tried asking if they would share their fuel with us, but they're not willing to give it away. They want food in exchange, lots of food, and that's something we don't have and can't get out on our own. On top of that, to even reach there then, we'd have to make our way past all those creatures. Would you be willing to go in our place? We only need enough ceruleum to last till the others are strong enough to travel to your camp. If the offer still stands, that is. Oh, and I don't expect you to give up your own supplies, but there might be another way to pay the tappers. If it's cerulean need, then ceruleum you shall have. Thank you so much. To reach Tapper's Den, you'll have to cross the lake. The ice is thick enough to support a person's weight, but if you'd rather not take the risk, you'll need to take the long way around. Finding the entrance can be a bit tricky too, so it's easier to just look for someone standing guard outside. However you decide to head there, please be careful. I'm willing to bet it's on top of this thing. Yep, it's up there. Just as I thought. Ah, there it is. This one was easy to find. Who goes there? How did you find us? What do you mean I stand out like a sore thumb? If the purebloods over at Victor Spoil haven't given away our location, you'd never have found us. Those stuck-up arseholes, thought they could come waltzing in here demanding cerulean with nothing to offer in return. Ha! Looks like the boots are the other foot now that the capital's gone to shite. So they resorted to sending you to negotiate. I know your game, Sellsword. If they think we'll give in to intimidation, they've got another think coming. Ooh, cutscene. There you are! Just after you left, Lucinia asked me to go and catch up with you, in case you needed a hand. Someone must have let slip that I've a little experience in transporting barrels of cerulean. So this is Topper's den. Well then, after you. If Alphado shows up, then we know we've been duped. Who are you? What happened to the gods? It's the rebels here to save the people of Golemald? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Why in the hell would you pass up this chance to put those Imperial bastards to the sword? Let me guess, none of you are Garlean. You were brought here from other lands. Girabania, Yangsha, Bosja, Dalmasca, to name but a few. Some dragged here against our will, others fed bollocks about a better life, all put to work extracting cerulean. All give it the esteemed title of An, placing us firmly on the bottom rung of the ladder. But the old hierarchy means nothing in the new Golemald, says we. About the only thing that escaped, more or less unscathed, is Cerulean Ingans, still sustaining us, even with our paying masters out of the picture. We hear you're expert in drawing up cerulean from the bottom of the lake, but how can you do that if it's frozen over? Ha! Wouldn't you like to know? Trade secrets, I'm afraid. At any rate, it's not as if cerulean is used for much these days. What with a city in ruins, we take enough to power our heaters to save the surplus for later, and though it helps stave off the cold, it does sod all about our hunger unless we can trade it away. Speaking of which, be sure to tell your contingent we've got cerulean by the barrelful. If they're interested, we'll exchange it for whatever provisions they're willing to spare. We can certainly ask, but you're all free to go now. Why carry on living here? Free to go? Go where? Even if we manage to get back to our homelands, there'll be nothing left for us, thanks to the Empire, and the knowledge and skills we acquired working here would be practically useless outside of Golemald. So we're staying for the time being. As long as there's a need for cerulean, we'll find a way to get by, even if Golemald as we knew it is gone for good. Gone for good? Regardless of what the Ilzabar contingent does for the people of Golemald, the Empire itself is already a thing of the past. For many, that would be a cause of celebration, while for others, their whole way of life will have been turned upside down. After all the atrocities committed in the Empire's name, perhaps it is for the best that it is consigned to history. But what of the ordinary people, their lives, their stories? Should they be forgotten too? I suppose there will be plenty of time to ponder that later. For now, let's see about getting some cerulean. Gear. So you come seeking cerulean, have you? What? Those purebloods up at Victor Spoil sent you? Return to their enemies for help. They must be more desperate than I thought. And again, Lucinia's got a little sister to think about. A sister? But we only saw Lucinia and 3 men. It's possible she died from whatever was ailing her. If she needed treatment, I doubt there'd be any way to get it around here. I may have refused Lucinia at first, thinking she'd come back with something to exchange, but I could spare them a bottle's worth of cerulean. Consider it a reward for introducing me to the rest of your contingent. Be sure to send them our way, you hear? I can't for the life of me think why Lucinia would keep her sister a secret from us, but we could ask about that after we discover this cerulean. Come on, let's hurry about it. Directly north of here, Northwest, so we'll be turning that away. Yoink! Directly north. This one's heading into Garlemald. We're not going there just yet because I'm expecting the enemies to be way higher level than they are right now. This isn't right. It's too quiet. I would have thought Alkano would still be treating them by the fire, but they're nowhere to be seen. I look inside the house while you search outside. They couldn't have gone far. Rain! Oh, here we go. They asked me to help carry supplies, but when I followed them back here, they attacked me, caught me off guard, forced me to defend myself. I fear they fared rather worse than me. You can't fool us. We know what you're about. Vultures, that's what you are, waiting in the wings for us to show weakness, then in you swoop. Here to help? What rot! All a ploy to make us lower our guard, let you in, put ourselves at your mercy, put us in chains, steal our lands, get your revenge. You're wrong. That's not what any of us want. Say the arguments were later. We got bigger problems. I found empty medicine bottles on a bed that was still warm. It's true, Lucinia was hiding her sick sister inside the house. But now, there's no sign of either of them. Where are they? Where do they go? Away from you and yours. And if you think I'll tell you, you're a fool. I never give up my people. We're trying to help them, you idiot. Her sister's ill. The empty bottles prove it. So the medicine ran out. Or she put it in her pockets to make it easier to carry. Or to avoid the sound of clinking glass. There are beasts everywhere. How could you let them go alone? To protect them from you. You invade our homeland, tainted with the same sorcerer used to slay our countrymen. Our Garleans should sooner die than suffer the insult. Better for them to flee. keep their purity intact, then be corrupted by your vile magics. We were waiting for a chance to free them since the moment you arrived. This is getting us nowhere. I cannot say how Lysenia and her sister will react when we find them, but find them we must. Go on without me, both of you. I first need to tend to my injuries, and theirs. I will join you in the search after. All right, be careful. We'll do our best to find them quickly. There's only one path out of here, so that's where we'll start. Two sets of fresh footprints. Young women, judging by the size. This is definitely them. Come on! The trail stops at the frozen lake. Perhaps they chose this route so as not to leave footprints. Can't think of any other reason. Look at this place. It's crawling with beasts, and can only imagine how hard it must be for her ailing sister to cross the ice. We could really do with Othano's help, but we can't afford to wait for him. Let's split up and search for clues. Jesus, this is a big area to search. Ooh, found something. The empty bottle smells faintly of alcohol. The thin coating of dirt indicates it has been here for some time, and is unlikely to have any connection to Lysenia or her sister. Damn it! Whee! There's so many things here. Ooh, found something. Half-buried piece of paper. The wet paper half buried in the snow appeared to be a flyer for a theater group, though the run of shows advertised has long since ended. Dang it! Ooh, there's something. Fresh blood. And the fact that it's fresh means that's definitely got to be something. The blood staining the snow appeared to be fresh. Judging by the amount, the victim may have been severely wounded. The trail of blood leads southeastwards. The two bodies are already cold. Well, damn! They're dead!
Blood trail. We found one. They were attacked.
And they're dead.
No. Why wouldn't they?
Safer to brave the wilds than trust in our magic. We should have... I should have... We can't leave them like this. We have to take them home.
What if we're only making it worse?
Maybe we don't belong here, but neither do they. Not out here in the wind and the cold. I heard the story about Varus's voice from beyond the grave. Of course, I didn't believe it, but Licinia and her sister did. Perhaps there is something to the tale after all. I want to understand. So I'm going to borrow this for a while, if that's all right. You had every reason not to trust us. We came as trespassers, invaders. But I pray that in time, we will be more than that to you. That we will find a way to help your loved ones. And see that no more children are left to freeze alone in the snow.
There must have been something we could have done, but what? Should we never have come here? Would they still be alive if we hadn't? Alpino's resolve may be shaken, but he has not forgotten his duty. We have already caused enough harm here. Let us return to the camp before we cause any more. As for those inside the house, we should send someone to take care of them. Someone who isn't us. All we can do for now is to make our report to Lucia and do everything in our power to prevent further tragedy. So let us linger here no more. Come. Okay, I need to step away for a few minutes, so give me a moment. Okay. We got ourselves a couple of side quests here. Definitely pick those up. Ooh, food! Could you spare a moment? The situation's rather dire, I'm afraid. Even now, our healers continue to treat the Imperial troops encountered on the Magna-Glakes. And prolonged use of curative magics has pushed them beyond their limits. To make matters worse, spending so much time around the Tempered, with all their raving and thrashing about, takes its toll on their carers. I dare say a few words of encouragement from the champion of Eorzea will help raise their spirits. I also have a few bottles of ether to alleviate their fatigue. Would you mind distributing these among the healers? I beg your pardon, but I hear you're a man of the world. We have a slight problem, and your knowledge might help us solve it. Actually, they came to me first, but when it comes to anything other than the martial arts, I'm unable to provide much in the way of assistance. I did, however, offer to find someone who can, so hopefully I may yet make myself useful. A man of the maelstrom is over by the storeroom, no doubt scratching his head as we speak. I'm sure he'd benefit from your wisdom. Oh, I've seen you before. You fought bravely at the Nodum, as I recall, and you come bearing gifts. Yes, treating the Tempered is a lot harder than I had imagined. Before we came here, I'd only heard rumors of the condition, but to see it with my own eyes, no one deserves that. No one. That's why the work we do is so important. Once I have finished resting, as I was ordered, I shall return to the patients. I thank you for your kindness. The Warrior of Light? It's an honor to meet you. Oh, I'm just doing my job is all. No need to thank me. Well, truth be told, it's beginning to wear on me bit by bit. I once lost a friend to tempering, and every time we managed to cure one of the afflicted, I'm reminded of those we couldn't save. If only we'd had a way to treating them before they were... No, I mustn't let such thoughts cloud my mind, and we're all very grateful for the work of the Scions in creating this treatment. For my part, I'll do everything in my power to save as many lives as possible. Man, it's so crazy to imagine how far we've come since Realm Reborn. We actually have a cure to save tempered individuals. No more deaths! Well, as far as I'm concerned, as I know. Sorry, I was a bit distracted. Hi, you wouldn't believe some of the things I've seen. Those poor bastards calling out the Varus for salvation. Wailing out anthems praising the Empire. And then there's the screaming. Gods, I can still hear them. But I mustn't let that stop me from fulfilling my duty. I'll fill my ears with wax if I have to. And once I get this ether down my neck, I'll return to my post. Is that? Oh, they got the scythe from Palace of the Dead. I didn't even think there would be one. Ah, you finished your rounds then. Do the healers have anything to share? It's worse than I thought. Even the tempered we'd seen in our homelands did little to prepare us for the sheer numbers we've counted here. Curing them all may appear to be an insurmountable task, but we must try. That's why maintaining morale and the well-being of our healers is so important. And you've made a valuable contribution. I'd like you to have this, by way of thanks. I was told someone would come to help, but I never thought it would be you. Well, now that you're here, I'd like you to take a look at this container we recovered from the Magna-Glakes. It was one of several, in fact, and though we've succeeded in cracking the others open, this stubborn bugger refuses to yield. All I know is a 4-letter password is needed to unlock it. What that might be, I haven't the foggiest idea. There might be someone around here who either knows what it is or can point us in the right direction. Could you try asking around for me? Sorry, I don't know the exact code, but given that the container belonged to the 3rd Legion, perhaps the password has some sort of significance to them? all online? That's what I want to know. And... oh, my buddy Fang is on. That's cool. Wait, he's in Garlemald. That means he's... actually, he's somewhere around here. Why are you playing a warrior in Mount Gold? I would expect you to be a little bit further than that, Vigil. Oh, shit. Alexei and Alfino told me they have finished their preliminary search for survivors, but refrain from saying much more than dying. Clearly, they are reluctant to provide details. Might I ask for your account? Damn it, I didn't mean to click on the quest.
Thank you for your report. We shall inform the troops of these developments, and instruct them to proceed with the utmost caution should they encounter any survivors.
Allow me to go and speak with the ones at the victor's spoils. They may be more willing to listen to a fellow Garlean and accept our offer of assistance.
I pray you are right. And though I am loath to burden you any further, should there be an appropriate occasion to speak of Licinia and her sister, please do so.
I am sorry to have put you through this.
My distress is nothing compared to their suffering. So tell me, what else have we learned?
As you may have already heard, we have succeeded in curing the members of the Populares, Maxima identified. They have provided us with some intriguing insights into the current state of Garlemald. The assassination of Emperor Varus was the catalyst for the civil war. Nerva declared his claim to the throne, and his opponents refused to recognize it. Fighting broke out in the capital, where Nerva's 3rd Legion clashed with the 1st, who remained loyal to Varus even after his death.
Of course, even Imperial warmongers would balk at the idea of turning their shining city into a battleground. Like burning down the wood to spite the wasps. Neither side would be so mad. Unless something or someone inflamed their animosity to such an extent that they could not help but act against their better judgment.
It brings to mind events at the Gimlet Dark, does it not? The Emperor's sudden withdrawal from the front lines, specifically. Nerva and his father, Titus, Varus's then political rival, took advantage of rumors that Crown Prince Xenos had been possessed by a demon.
Elidibus, what better way to disparage your enemies than with the truth, or a close enough approximation?
Indeed. But before their accusations could be substantiated, many of Titus's followers were silenced. While some were merely stripped of their status, others died under curious circumstances. One after another, suddenly and suspiciously.
Again, Elidibus. Like as not, he had a hand in it. No evidence was found to implicate Varus, certainly. Nevertheless, Titus, Nerva, and the 3rd Legion would have judged it a brazen attempt by the Emperor to rid himself of his political enemies. And then, in the midst of this growing turmoil, Varus Sosgalvis is murdered. And Garlemald's own prodigal son, Gaius van Belsar, is named the murderer. Shortly thereafter, Nerva claims the right of succession, and in response, the First Legion claims the assassination was part of a coup d'etat orchestrated by Titus and Nerva.
So no one is at fault, and everyone else is to blame.
I should add that both parties received substantial financial backing, presumably to provide them with the means and encouragement to pursue a swift victory, and that these contributions came from the self-same benefactor.
I'd heard House Brutus had been filling the Third Legion's coffers, but the First as well.
It would seem so. Though the Populares determined that the First Legion received funds from a variety of organizations, all had connections to House Brutus.
So Fandaniel, in the guise of Asahi, was playing both sides against each other the entire time.
The information we gained from my friends does not end there. One night, shortly after fighting broke out, the capital was shaken by an immense tremor. From that point onward, they have no memories, no recollection of any events, including our clash on the Magna Glaciers. But when asked about the Imperial Palace and its bizarre transformation, they somehow recall Emperor Varus giving them orders in their dreams. May the Tower of Babel stand as testament to the glory of Garlemald.
This sounds awfully familiar.
We have something to show you all.
Varus spoke to them through this radio. Perhaps it was a recording, but if not, that would be inexplicable.
We are of one mind, then.
The ether that permeates the ore used in this device is almost identical to that of the talismans.
I see it. While it is likely more by coincidence than design, these devices might also ward against a primal's influence. A picture is beginning to form. If the tremor felt throughout Garlemald was a wave of ether emitted by a primal, then while those within range would have been tempered, those huddled around a radio desperate for news concerning the Civil War would have been spared.
No wonder Licinia kept it close.
My friends, I must speak with you. A young man was caught trying to steal our supplies. He is a soldier of the Iron Men, we think, but one who has not been made thrall. Thankfully, Magni restrained him before blood was spilled. The stranger is outside, if you wish to ask him questions.
I think we do.
Who do we have here?
Garleans? Traitors to your homeland! Have you no shame?
I am Lucia Junius, a Temple Knight of Ishgard. And you are?
Iulus Pier Norbanus. And that's all you invaders will get from me.
We are not here to invade Garlemald. Far from it. Like you, our allies in Eorzea and the Far East fight in defense of their lives and their loved ones even as we speak. But it is the people of Garlemald who have suffered most. This we know. And that is why we have come to offer you our aid, that we may unite against our common foe. Whether you believe me or not, those are the facts. Now, answer me this. Why would a proud soldier of the Empire be reduced to stealing? The situation must be dire indeed for you to go to such lengths. If it is supplies you seek, we would gladly share ours, or turn a blind eye while you leave with your spoils.
I will not negotiate. My commander will determine how to deal with you and yours. If you wish to treat with him, I will take you, but no more than 3.
I don't much like the sound of that. But if we do accept his proposal, I suggest the 2 of us and...
Please allow me and Alize to act as envoys.
May I ask why?
We have seen with our own eyes the hardships the Garleans face. How their futures and lives hang in the balance.
It's not the warmest invitation, but it's an opportunity to prove our intentions true. Maybe not a chance to make things right, but a chance to make them better.
I can see that persuading you otherwise is a lost cause, but you will proceed with the utmost care.
Couple of children and what? A sellsword? Is this an insult?
Not in the least. You will find that they are more than qualified to speak on our behalf.
There are many dangers on the road ahead. I will need that back.
You will be received as invited guests, and so I urge you to observe proper social etiquette and conduct yourselves accordingly. Your safe return takes precedence above all else. Remember this. Thancred, in particular, will be worried sick if you're gone too long. May the Fury watch over and keep you. Now I can go and finish the other side quest. Containers? Sorry, I've never had much to do with them. But if you're after clues that could lead you to the password, a little background information on the 3rd Legion might be of use. It was formed in the first year of Emperor Solus's reign, and spent the first few decades engaged in campaigns across the northern territories. So it could be Solus. In the 42nd year, for its exemplary service to the Empire, it was assigned a new role, the protection of the capital, a far more prestigious position. I understand it's common for people to choose dates and so forth for special importance as their password. As for the members of the 3rd, nothing springs to mind. Perhaps an anniversary or something along those lines. If this belonged to the 3rd Legion, they'd be the ones to pick the password, most likely make it easy to remember. That information we got about the history of the Legion might be a lead worth following, but we've no way of entering numbers, only letters. Wait, that's it! Garlean numerals! Let's see, if 3 is written as third, then if I take 42, hold on, XLII? Is that right? Worth a try, I suppose. It worked! Now to inspect our treasure. What the bloody hell is this? A flag? Why would they bother keeping a thing like this locked away? Well, I'll not pretend I understand their ways. Let's just assume they have a good reason for treating a bit of cloth with such reverence. Probably best to leave it here undisturbed, as I have no intention of offending anyone. I ask you to pass on word of what we found. Oh, and thanks for your help. So as the investigation finally reached its conclusion, a Garlean flag, we'd be wise to treat it with respect. The chain it bears represents the unity between the people of the Empire, a unity that is all but lost. To think that this banner would be locked away rather than raised proudly, a relic of Garlemald's past, though they have long been our enemies, to see his people brought so low, Forgive me, I have spoken overmuch. Though the search did not uncover any resources to speak of, at least the mystery of the locked container can be laid to rest. You have our thanks. Alrighty, that's all the side quests. Are you and the children ready? I'll explain the route once we are outside your camp. If anyone attempts to follow us, we will judge it an act of hostility. We will not hesitate to take appropriate measures. I would expect nothing less. You have our full cooperation. Alright, this is far enough. Listen carefully. We head over that hill and follow the road until we reach Liminal Station 4. Children in the lead, I want you where I can see you. We do have names, you know. I'm Alize, and he's Alfino. And last but not least, there's Yami. Yami, where have I heard that before? No matter. Alfino and Alize will watch the road ahead, while we bring up the rear. I wasn't lying about there being many dangers, so you're to run, not saunter, run towards the station. If you think about going for your weapon, the deal's off. Should any creatures bar the way, we go around them. Once you choose to depart, Julius will accompany you. Okay. Ready to make a dash for the station? This is it. The first stop, that is. Good. It looks like your friends knew better than to follow us. Are these your headquarters? No, we're stopping here so I can check for pursuers. Since it appears you've kept to your side of the bargain, we can carry on. North of the station is Regio Dormorum, one of the main residential areas, or at least it was. The afflicted roam the streets in packs. They'll tear us to shreds if given a chance. Keep close. No wandering off. Understand? New shoes! From here, we'll be heading northeast, keeping to the left of the railway. While the route itself is straightforward, getting past the hordes unseen is anything but. Keep your weapons at the ready. They would attack their own countrymen. Aye, they spare their own, but slaughter the rest without hesitation. Though we'll try to avoid detection, the chance of sneaking by completely unnoticed are slim at best. I will lead the way, but in the event we are seen, you are to fight them off. Those two will follow us, provided they can refrain from drawing their weapons. While I doubt they would be foolish enough to stab their guide in the back, I will not take that chance. With that said, let us proceed. I see why your comrades chose you. Jewess, our contingent has a cure for the afflicted, or tempered as we call them. Your people would need to be taken into custody that we may administer the treatment, but they would eventually regain their sanity. Is that so? For all I know, your treatment will simply force them to forsake one master for another. As far as I and my legion are concerned, they are no longer our people. They are beyond saving. Those who thought differently and tried to reason with them were butchered for their bleeding hearts. Come, we have to keep moving. Yeesh! Looks like we're not being followed. We will continue onward. Northwest is still pointing towards Garlemald. I meant what I said. These people deserve only death. I stayed my hand before only out of the desire to remain undiscovered, and that is still the higher priority. We should continue to avoid any unnecessary confrontations. Keep following the railway. What on earth are these? Look at what they have become. Would you still stand there and claim they can be cured? Those exposed to a vast quantity of primal ether may suffer severe corruption. Even with treatment, such victims are beyond salvation. Then you admit it. Now that you have seen these monstrosities for yourself, perhaps you will think twice before speaking of a cure. Shut up, phone! We're almost there. You have to keep your side of the agreement, so I'll keep mine. This way. This is Tertium, one of Garamal's largest stations, and now serves as our headquarters. I already sent the twins ahead. I will be with you soon, so wait for me at the bottom of the stairs. Oh, I can't register to it. It's plain to see why they chose this as their base of operations. They could have done a lot worse. You so imagine it's not the easiest place to live. Indeed, and if Julius was willing to make the perilous journey to Camp Broken Glass in search of food, their own supplies must be all but exhausted. They may be shielded from the wind and snow, but it's still bitterly cold, much like Victor's spoils, and must be a constant struggle to keep their people warm. Lower your voices. While you may be here as my guests, the others will not take kindly to your presence. My commander is in the locomotive, over there.
These are their chosen representatives.
Very well. Let us hear what they have to say.
Yes, sir. I present to you our commander, Lord Quintus Vankina, Legatus of the 1st Legion.
Seriously.
The first? I had no idea you had survived.
We lost our emperor, our city, more than half our troops. For my wounds, I may never take the field again. But we survived, aye. In a manner much to your liking, I dare say.
We have no intention of adding to your misfortunes, nor do we bear you any ill will.
Spare me. Though you children may speak in earnest, overtures of peace ever ring hollow in my ears. So long as man stands to profit from his neighbor's suffering, war is inevitable. Driven from our ancestral homeland into this blasted waste. Yet still you yearned to rob us of our paltry scraps. 'Twas only with Magitech that you learned to keep your distance. Though we knew it was only a matter of time before you regrouped and returned. Conquest and Empire were our only defenses. Emperors Solus and Varus understood this, and through their campaigns saw us grow and prosper. Much blood has been spilled in Garlemald's name, aye. But if it is a choice between yours and mine, then it is hardly a choice at all.
I do not deny that a great many conflicts throughout history were driven by the desire or necessity to gain by another's loss. That is not why we are here. Nor have we come to petition your aid in the war with the Telophoroi, grave though that threat may be. Our purpose is simply this. We wish to help you. Let us help you. If there is aught that can be done to ease your plight, we would be glad to do it.
Perhaps you would. But regardless of the ideals you espouse, your leaders would not send an army into Garlemald if they did not stand to benefit. If we accept their aid, they will expect their efforts to be rewarded once the Telophoroi are no longer a threat. And after compensation and concessions, the great empire would be brought to heel. Her enemies rejoice at her downfall. Our third eye, a mark of shame.
We won't stand idly by and let your people be humiliated. And we're not alone in that. We only want to make a difference. To make this world of ours better. Surely you can understand that. What I'm trying to say is, there are so many people who just don't care about making you suffer. And maybe that's almost insulting after all the suffering you feel the world has subjected your people to, but believe it or not, that's the truth. And now we're here, and all we're asking is for you to tell us what you want, what you hope for.
So much blood has been shed, so much lost. All because of this endless war. Who wouldn't want to end it? Can we not work together to face our problems as one?
Answer me this, young peacemakers. If a world without conflict is your desire, why reject the unity and prosperity of Garlemald? Is it because we do not share your faith? That we do not share your heritage? That our ideals and virtues differ? That we cherish and hold in the highest that which you do not? Disparity is the root of discord, and peace built on compromise is flawed and fleeting. Happiness for one and all is a dream, and the reality is that to the victor go the spoils. That is why we Garleans will never submit nor surrender. For freedom and for pride, we will remain true to ourselves until the bitter end. That is my hope. It seems there is nothing more to say on the matter. You will remain here while I decide what is to be done with you. Do not be alarmed. No harm will come to you if you cooperate.
We will not resist. However, as your guests, I ask that we be allowed to speak with the other members of your group.
As you wish. I had no intention of locking you up, as by dawn you would be frozen stiff and you're no good to me dead. You are free to move about the encampment, but there is one condition. Collar them.
What are these?
Incentive. You'll be watched at all times. Stray too far or act suspiciously, and we will administer a rather painful shock.
Shock collars?
Stop. Keep away from that one. The champion of Eorzea is not so easily cowed.
Damn,
Even
he
if
knew.
he allowed himself to be collared, the shock would be no more than an itch. No. If he refuses to obey, we will activate the twins' restraints instead.
You needn't worry about us.
We'll forget we're even wearing them soon enough.
He leashed me by threatening the twins. Ugh.
Such lengths. What is it all for? You are a curious one. A far cry from the merciless barbarian others paint you to be.
Barbarian?
You will be their warden. Take them away.
Yes, sir.
It's per Lord Quintus's instructions. I am to supervise you during your time here in 13. Before you ask, no, I don't have a key or any other means to remove your collars. Nor would I tell you if I did. And if you try anything, you'll soon wish you hadn't. So do you truly intend to speak with the others, or was that merely a ruse? We're in no hurry to disobey Lord Quintus, if that's what you mean. Or perhaps you doubt the wisdom of his decision. Do as you will, but remember, I'll be watching. If I catch wind of you doing anything untoward, trying to trick our people into turning their coats and the like, those shot callers will be the least of your worries. Understood? Though we're somewhat compromised, to put it lightly, let's not waste this opportunity. I suggest splitting up and learning what we can of their situation, and above all else, don't use magics of any sort. You, on the other hand, may go wheresoever you wish, even outside the camp. I know full well I couldn't stop you if I tried. But do not forget, if you do anything to endanger us or our interests, Alfino and Alize will pay the price. Jesus. Can I access this? No. Octavia! It's you, Yami Nomura. I served under Lord Gaius in the 14th Legion. I was there on the night the Praetorian fell. You and your adventurers, you killed them. My comrades, my friends, swept them aside in their dozens as though they were nothing to you. And maybe I am too, just another faceless enemy to be cut down, but it won't be long until our countrymen return, until you get what you deserve. Mark my words. Okay. It's so cold. This young soldier is on the verge of losing consciousness. I know who you are, the so-called champion of Eorzea. Come to gloat, have you? I'll wipe that smirk off your face. By the blood of our fallen compatriots, I swear I'll... Ugh! Damn, tore the sutures. Of all the times, there was the lot within striking distance, and I can't even muster the strength. If it weren't for the third bleeding us, we'd be the end of you. Virgilia's treachery nearly cost Lord Quintus his life, but we made our escape, took shelter in a mansion, tended to the wounded as we prepared to strike back, and then... Night fell and we gathered around the radio. Then the roar, the terrible roar. The capital was in chaos, but we were spared. If you could call this a mercy, mind intact, but body broken, a soldier in name alone. I'd cut you down where you stand if I could. Murderer. Okay. The radio is the same model as the one used at Victor Spoils. Perhaps it is what saved the soldiers here from being tempered. Ah, there. You came with Julius, didn't you? Well, whatever business brought you here, you'd best keep your hands off that etherite. It's deactivated, but I'd rather you didn't mess about with it. There are others throughout the city, but by Garleans. 4 Garleans. Could teleport all over in the blink of an eye, provided there was a terminal nearby. These days, however, we use this etherite's power to keep this place lit, though that comes at the cost of its normal function. Oh, so that's why we can't use it. Did you learn anything of note? And your findings are consistent with my own. Their plight is desperate indeed. The sick and injured are at greater risk. Without warmth and proper nutrition, I fear they will soon perish. I realize that there is precious little we could do for them at present, but I cannot bear to see them suffer. Please, will you help me tend to them? This is Flavius. His name is Flavius. Who's there? My eyes, I can't see all that well. Thank you. The numbness has subsided a little. But I know I won't last much longer. You should look to the others who can still fight. Give them my ration. If me going hungry means someone else lives to see another day, so be it. At least I can still serve in that way. Wow. So those you've met fare no better? I was afraid you would say that. I know we were warned against meddling in their affairs, but we can't leave them like this. Perhaps we might gain permission to have the contingent deliver supplies. Quintus may have made his feelings on the matter quite clear, but even he must recognize they are not in a position to refuse help. Maybe Julius could persuade him, though we need to persuade Julius first. Well, seen enough. Jules, the people here have barely enough food and fuel to survive. Have you and the other soldiers been able to procure any more supplies? We've been scavenging provisions from the nearby houses, as most families kept some stored away in the event they were snowed in. Still, going out and getting is dangerous work, and we've a lot of mouths to feed. Fuel is the greater concern, though. We had some cerulean set aside until it was stolen. We haven't identified the culprit. Could have been other refugees or one of the afflicted for all we know. By the way, we're down to the last dregs. Without the heating they need, those in poor health are only going to get worse instead of better. If it's cerulean you need, I'd continue to secure the ready supply. We can have some sent over. We will not accept your charity. If we can hold on a little longer, the situation is sure to change. Aye, everything will change. One of your comrades mentioned something along those lines. Heard something of it, have you? Well, from what I've seen, there's little you could do to interfere, so there's no harm in telling you. One of our scouts spotted a hooded man issuing instructions to the afflicted, or in the bastard's words, loyal service of the Telophoroi. Then he made his way inside the Imperial Palace, or what stands in its place. We'd identified the seat of the enemy's power, we realized. Lord Quintus dispatched a messenger to the 10th Legion, saying as much, and instructing them to join forces with the Provincial Legions to prepare for a combined assault on the Telophoroi. Once our allies arrive, your contingent will be sent running for the hills. Then we shall reclaim the capital by our own hand. Now how do you intend to survive in the meantime? At this rate, many of your countrymen will perish long before reinforcements reach Garlemald. They need help now. Say the word and we will bring you cerulean. I will speak with Lord Quintus. So, did he agree to it? No, he will not place Garlemald in the depth of our enemies. I have, however, been ordered to search for cerulean outside. As you are under my watch, you will come with me. Very well. After all, many hands make light work. You lot are more trouble than you're worth. Once we are outside, you will follow my instructions to the letter. We depart shortly. Side quests? No? No side quests? Not a one? Yuzu! Pet the Yuzu. We begin our search for cerulean in Regio Urbanissima. The first location is Forum Solius, a park to the northwest of this station. You are to remain close at all times and act only as ordered. Follow me. Oh, I will. Yuzu is such a nice person. I always have to say hi to her every time I see her. Oh, there it is. It's up there. The question is, how do I get up there? Oh, there's a road. Alright, how many currents does that make for me in Garlemald? 2, 4, 6, I need 4 more. I'm so close to being done with the Garlemald open world quests, and all I need is the ones tied to the side quests. Ooh, hiccups, Jesus Christ. I need some water. Water! Water! H2O! Ah, nothing beats a good cold glass of warm water. So, how long have I been live streaming? I just realized this. I started at around 11:59. It's 2:26 now, so it's been about 3 hours, almost 3 hours. We'll keep going for a little bit longer. See if I can make it to the next dungeon. So this is the park. I'm surprised they found space for one amongst all these buildings. Actually, the recreational areas came first. The houses are later built around them. A healthy society requires communal spaces for children to play and adults to socialize. This park was named after the founding father of the empire, the great Solus Galvus. Did we come to extract cerulean from the wrecked Magitech armor? No, we've already drained it dry. Same goes for the rest of the machina in the vicinity. But as cerulean has been stolen, we must scour the city for every last drop. And while I don't expect to find anything here, I decided to try one more time in case something has been overlooked. I see. In with your permission, we will commence the search. Search for cerulean. We got a decently sized area to search. Oh joy. A shop counter? Though rather small by Garlean standards, the structure is reminiscent of a merchant stall. Perhaps it was built for children to play as shopkeeper. There's nothing inside resembling Magitech or any other device that would be fueled by cerulean. There's something directly west of here. Oh, that's water! Jesus, I didn't think it was water. Ooh, a slide? The contraption is built in the style of Imperial work machina, armed with a battery of weapons and capable of transforming into different configurations, but on closer inspection it appears to be no more than a children's slide. A cursory inspection of the wrecked Magitech armor finds that the fuel canisters have long since been drained of ceruleum, as Julius said. Maybe up there? Oh, it's on the other side. I was on the right track, just on the wrong side. Oh, it's just a map. It's just a map. Several points of interest are marked on the map of Forum Soleus. The pond, children's play areas. To your knowledge, however, none would require the use of ceruleum. Jesus, hiccups. Oh, it's you. Any luck? There's no sign of any ceruleum. Hardly surprising, but disappointing nonetheless. I couldn't help noticing you gazing at the pond. Is something the matter? What? Yes, I mean, no, It's just I used to bring my brother and sister here to play. The pond was heated to stop it from freezing over, so like all the other children, they just had to wait and splash about. Would have stayed there if I didn't drag them out. We'd be sopping wet when all was said and done, every time. And every time, when we'd get home, Mother would scold us, saying we'd catch our death walking around like that. The pond was heated. With a ceruleum-powered heater, by chance. I suppose it must have been. Come to think of it, I remember seeing engineers changing out a tank beneath a hatch. But that was a long time ago, when the water still flowed clear and wasn't this brackish muck. We can't see a thing, and I can't remember where the hatch might be. With the machinery most likely broken, the amount of filth in there is probably the only reason it hasn't frozen over. I'd wager it's still unbearably cold, though. Julius, what are your thoughts on magic? The average Garling would jump out of their skin if they saw it, but the first has a foreign signifer and Medici, so it doesn't scare me. And I take you won't mind if I employ a little now. Alphino, as you have a knack for finding dry wood, why don't you bring me some? Once that's done, a blaster for fire should do the trick. Leave it to me. You're not planning to go in there, are you? Of course I am. That tank isn't going to fetch itself. It's nothing so involved as extracting unprocessed ceruleum from a frozen lake. How the toppers do it. We're talking about a shallow pond in a park. And we have a way of warming ourselves up after. But that's insane! So, fancy a dip? A little friendly competition might make things interesting. Last one to find a cerulean tank is a rotten egg. Well, I dare say we'll both smell like rotten eggs when this is over. First, here. You delve into the murky water but come up empty-handed. To add the injury to insult, the icy wind on your damp clothing chills you to the bone. You delve into the murky water but come up empty-handed. To add injury to insult, the icy wind on your damp clothing chills you to the bone. Ack! Maybe this one. More! So it's always, obviously, the last one. It's always the last place I always check. Beneath the water, your fingers catch on what you think might be a handle. You open the hatch to retrieve a ceruleum tank. Bruh, we're cold. I knew he was going to react like that. However, your grand discovery comes at great personal cost, as you become acutely aware of the freezing cold and a rancid odor emanating from every ailment of your body. Julius would doubtlessly feel compelled to pinch his nose shut when you deliver to him your prize. I knew that was going to be the thing. Did you find anything? I hope you did. That's it! And there's still some cerulean left. Ah, the fire's still not ready. Hold on, I'll give Alpha Noah a hand. Call me an Uldan because by fire I am reborn, and my clothes are mostly dry now, too. I appreciate you recovering the cerulean, but I wish you'd taken the time to discuss the plan with me beforehand. Despite the way you've been treated in Lord Quintus's eyes, you're still envoys deserving of protection. If you were to die on my watch, he would be most displeased. Your concern is duly noted, but all's well that ends well. Julius, you mentioned coming here with your younger siblings. Did you grow up in Garlemald? I did, not far from here. My father was an accomplished researcher in his youth, and for his contributions to the Empire, awarded an estate. We lived well, better than many. What was Garlemald like in those days? Everything. It was everything you could imagine, and so much more. Even during the coldest winters, we always found warmth and comfort at home. Coming in from the snow, taking off your coat and sitting down for a hot meal with family, visiting friends and relatives, receiving that same welcome, knowing they had everything they needed, walking down the street, seeing the lights in all the houses, hearing the faint sounds of laughter and song, of happiness. And although the summers came and went all too quickly, in that brief respite, the ice would melt and the forgotten grass makes its triumphant return. Gray clouds gave way to blue skies. Some mornings we'd climb to the top of the tallest building we could find to watch the sun rise. Never again. Those rooftops are rubble, those friends dead, and those memories. But if I could reclaim even a fraction of what we once had. Soon our chance will come. We just need to hold on a little longer. Alright, now that you've recovered from your escapades in the pond, there's another location I'd like to search, just outside the park. It's only level 83? Is it up there? Southwest. It's up there. They actually had cars. That's cool. $245 yalms to the southwest. I know I should be focusing on the story, but I want to go ahead and at least get the ether currents here. Directly west, so we're heading this way. I see it. Oh, here we go. That was, what, 2? That leaves just 2 more. 376 here. So they must all be in the Garlemald's in the city. Oh, southeast, other way. Is it up there? Directly south from here. $34. $24. I should be able to see it. Aha! Inside. Eh. And the last one is 752 yalms to the west. Ow! That was a... Ow! That was laser. Ow! 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 Stop shooting me in the ass! Stop it! Uh-oh, I see a bomb. That is a bomb. They're going by a different name, but that's definitely a bomb. Ba, 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 da, ba. Nope, we don't need that shit being targeting me. Southwest, so over by this building, perhaps? Oh, I see it. It's directly in front of me. And with that, I have all of the world ether currents. for Golemald. Now I just need to get the side quest ones, which might be a little while because I haven't seen anywhere that actually will give me side quests. Wait, what is this? It's a horse mech. No, it's a knight mech. Hold up. Okay, that was cool. Okay, those are just the only locations I haven't been to yet. I just realized Garlemald is probably the only locale where I don't need to fly in order to get access to the entire map. And again, I probably do. Oh, that's not just a regular death machine, it's an automated death machine. Really? Yeet! As you can see, this place is littered with the remnants of various types of war machina. While my comrades and I have already recovered the tanks from the less damaged units, those that took a more severe beating are harder to scavenge. We decided to save those for another time, that time being now. Rather than prize them apart piece by piece, it would be quicker to remove the outer casing using compact explosives. With luck, we'll gain access to the tanks without rupturing them. Though the force generated by these devices is relatively weak, I would advise you stand well clear to avoid being hit by any shrapnel. Before even bothering, though, you should check the machina's cerulean gauge to see if there is any left. It should still provide an accurate reading even when the unit itself is inactive. If the gauge is broken, I'll let you decide whether to use an explosive or not. Should you need more, come to me. Understood. Let's get to work. Let's check it. This unit's fuel tank is empty. Nope. We don't care. Oh, was there two things here? Cerulean gauge on this unit appears to have been broken, giving you no way to determine how much fuel its tank may hold. We'll come back to that. This has been broken. Ah! Already! Broken! And empty. Okay. So let's just say this one has something in it. Read war mechanism Cerulean tank to find. It is still half full or half empty, depending on one's perspective. Either way, Julius will surely be pleased by your discovery. Excuse me? You want to start something, you stupid satellite? Oh, no, he does. Oh, there's a machinist nearby. Hello. More explosives? Wait, is that what I think it is? You've done it again! Truly, luck is on your side. With this, we should be able to refuel quite a few of our heaters. It's time we headed back. Wait here while I go and see how Elise and Alfino are faring.
Finally escaped the watchful gaze of your keepers, have we?
Tancred? Hello.
Don't react. You'll only draw attention to yourself. Just carry on as you are and listen. After you left with the Garlean lad, Lucia bade a few of us scouts follow you at a discreet distance. We observed you being led into the station, but decided against venturing inside. When you emerged sometime later, and we saw that the twins were sporting Magitech collars, it was clear what had taken place. Now, as quietly as you can, tell me everything. The Legatus himself, eh? Now there's a surprise. This is also the first I've heard of a plan to join forces with the 10th and storm the Tower of Babel. An interesting development, and perhaps the opportunity we've been waiting for. Our comrades back at the camp also received some rather promising news, but it's still too early to get our hopes up. For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them. With luck, this will all be over soon. Until then.
They had not gone far.
We searched high and low, but no luck, I'm afraid. I might have guessed you'd be the only one to find anything.
I wasn't expecting much to begin with. Eventually, there will be nothing left out here for us to safely salvage. For now, this will have to suffice. We should return to the station.
There you are. Heard you'd gone hunting for ceruleum above ground. Brought back a king's ransom?
Hardly. But thanks to these three, we have enough to last a little while longer.
Well, well. It's not at all as I was expecting, these ones. For savages, they seem positively docile. It's a poor attempt at humor. In all honesty, I'm grateful for your efforts. But even with another night of warmth, there are those among us who may not live to see the morrow.
I trust your expedition was fruitful.
Lord Quintus!
Use what you procured to refuel the armor.
But, sir, what about the heaters for the camp?
The time for action is upon us. My men and I have matters to discuss. In the meantime, you are to wait here. Do not forget, you are being watched.
The time for action. What did he mean by that?
I can only speculate. Clearly something requiring their magitech, given what we just heard. Whether they plan to utilize it now, or after they join with the 10th, is another question. Will they ever escape this cult? Return to and reclaim the idyllic spaces of which Euless spoke?
Finished your war, Council?
Alphino and Alizé are to stay here, as our prisoners. They will be released once your comrades have relinquished their supplies and withdrawn from Garlean soil. Until our terms are met, they will be detained at a separate location.
After everything we've said and done, this is how you treat us.
Our allies have but limited supplies. They may stave off cold and starvation for a short while, but what then?
For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them.
Get them out of here.
Alphino and Alizé will be fine, providing they do not resist. You will accompany back to your camp, where I will meet with your leader and present Lord Quintus's demands. Before we depart, however, there is something I would ask of you. Assuming your contingent complies, the supplies they surrender will need to be transported here. That task falls to Legionaries Marcellinus and Octavius, who will be piloting Magitech armor to their headquarters. You are to inform them that we are leaving shortly. Tell them to ask the IA for the further details in those words. Once you've seen to that, meet me by the exit. You again. That's the E, you said. So that's to be the way of it. After all this. How ironic that you should be the one to deliver the news. If those are my orders, then so be it. For the glory of Golemald. What do you want with me? That's the ear. So Lord Quintus has reached a decision. I knew he would understand, that he would recognize Savage as a ruthless, merciless creature, and to defeat him, we too must be uncompromising. I am ready. In the name of Emperor Varus, for the glory of Golemald, I will fulfill my duty. Ah, screw it. My favorite mount has always been Cloud's motorcycle, so I will always use it. Have you instructed them? Their duties involve more than the transportation of supplies, don't they? Duty is rarely a simple thing. We have been given additional orders, though whether we will be required to follow them depends entirely on your contingent. You and I are in this together now. Like it or not, we have to cooperate. There is one other matter, a place I'd like to visit on the way to your camp. It's a short walk from here. Follow me. Oh, I cannot wait for part 2 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. The first part was just so good. No! Deal with that problem. Julius lingers by the ruins, reluctant to leave and reluctant to stay, unable to move on. Good cold water.
This is my home. Our home. At least it was, until that night. I was with Lord Quintus when the capital fell, and thus spared. My family, who did not own a radio, were less fortunate. When dawn came, I made my way here. My parents, my little brother and sister, they were still inside. But they weren't themselves, and they tried to. And I had to. I'd promised to take them away from the capital that very morning, to somewhere safe, to hide until the fighting stopped. promised.
That had to be painful.
The Garlean flag bears a chain. The bonds between our countrymen. A red link at its center. The blood of the fallen. Our loved ones who lived and died for Garlemald. But if she too fell, who would be left to remember them and their sacrifice? What enduring proof would there be that they were ever here? If we had turned to your gods, would they have saved us? I'm sorry, I forget I spoke. We should go.
It's no use.
Believe me, I do not enjoy being here any more than you. But he wanted us to play along, so that is what we will do.
It's so cold.
Painfully so. Unbearably.
I've been thinking about what Quintus said. About why no one would accept Garlean rule. Irreconcilable differences. When coexistence isn't an option, only conquest remains. Varus at Gimlet said much the same. Only by uniting the world beneath a single standard would we rid ourselves of the Ascians. United as one people, one race cleansed of imperfections. A cold and unforgiving vision. And when we fail to live up to their standards, what place is there for us in their world? But the truly sad, truly frustrating thing is how damnably similar it all is to the lofty ideals of Father and the Forum. Non-intervention. Always non-intervention. Protect our knowledge and our people, and to hells with the rest of you. And yet, I can see how it happened. Varus and Father looked to their elders for guidance and took their virtues as their own. But for this world was of their making. In who else could they place their trust? All of us lost in a sea of chaos. Searching desperately for purpose and meaning. But it shouldn't just be an extension of another's. It has to be ours. It has to be. We all have a stake in this world. No one should be silenced.
I won't deny that we lack the experience of people such as Father or Quintus. Perhaps they've come to see the world as a series of problems, and the most efficient way of solving them, to reduce everything to fundamental forms. A stone is a stone, a cloud, a flower, no more than that. Simple descriptions that strip the subject of distinguishing characteristics. A man is a man. divided according to race, creed, or allegiance, and to some, defined by such associations.
Is that what you think?
In my misbegotten youth. But what I believed wisdom was no more than aggressive ignorance. I've since learned to look beyond the banners and the politics, to see people as individuals with their own hopes and dreams. As for my dream of building a better world, well, every day I'm reminded that it is far more complex than I had ever imagined. But it only spurs me onward, to find the wisdom and the strength to see it through to the very end.
All of our supplies and an immediate withdrawal. These are your conditions?
Demands. And you forgot about the airship. Once again, you will leave one behind. It will be used to return the prisoners. Their collars will be removed prior to the exchange.
So in the end, not even Father's expertly worded rhetoric could deter you from your chosen course.
Huh?
Not that I thought for a moment that it would. I've no love for violence, of course, but ours is a cause worth fighting for. I just wish he'd realize it too. Sometimes the only way to protect the ones you love is to take a stand, to refuse to suffer in silence. I want you to know I share your conviction. Whether it be on the battlefield or in the debating chamber, I won't back down. I guess what I'm saying is...
You've found your own reason to fight.
Yes. Yes, I have. God's willing, there will come a day when we can finally lay down our arms, and there will be peace. But not until the Telophoroi have been defeated once and for all. And you, brother, will have a vital part to play. By your words and deeds, you'll lead the way.
I pray I am up to the task.
There'll always be naysayers. Those who think us fools for even trying. It's easy for learned elites to criticize earnest efforts and assert their moral superiority, all without offering alternatives. Not that their sophistry has ever wounded you. So stubborn and strong. Stronger than you even know. Don't ever change, you hear me? If you stumble, I'll be there to catch you. Or give you a thick ear. Maybe both, for good measure.
Thank you, Alice.
I absolutely love these two. Estinian?
The scouts have secured Alize and Alfino. Their collars were removed without complication as well. They report no casualties, not for their party nor the guards, who will wake from their premature slumber in due course.
It would appear the situation has changed. I propose new terms. We have information that will be of great interest to Lord Quintus, and I wish to speak with him in person.
No. In the event you rejected our first proposal, we came prepared with a second.
Ambush!
More are coming! Make ready!
We, the loyal soldiers of the First Legion, proud servants of Garlemald, of the fallen Emperor Varus, shall safeguard these lands from the barbarian hordes until our countrymen return! Stop! Both of you!
This child may be the worst emissary I have ever seen.
We received an urgent communication from the Grand Company of Eorzea. Envoys from the Imperial Army, led by members of the 10th Legion, came to Alamigo and requested an audience. They explained that their efforts to coordinate the reclamation of the capital with the aid of the 4th, 5th, 8th, and 12th had ended in failure. Communication between most legions has broken down entirely. Most of the 10th's conscripts have deserted, leaving their forces severely depleted. That is why, unable to continue the fight on their own, they and their allies turned to the Grand Company of Eorzea for aid.
Lies! Every word!
It is the truth, and I have not finished. The 10th has requested that we deliver a message to Lord Quintus. Have the ill stand down.
You have been listening, my lord? What are your orders?
Inform her that we will honor the 10th's decision. Bereft of hope, and now